So awesome. Let me get rid of that light by my head so you can see me. Welcome, welcome. So excited to do this with you guys. We have been just so excited to be able to share what we've been going through with the 80-day obsession. We thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to kind of expose you guys to what we're doing and what it's been like for us. And some of you are either following us on our journey, or you've seen pictures posted like in your news feed about the 80-day obsession. So we thought it would be fun to just come in and just talk to you guys one-to-one about what we've been going through and all that kind of stuff. So we want to start off by just introducing ourselves, and I'll let Angie go first, and she can introduce herself and talk a little bit about how long you've been a coach and how you kind of started with your fitness and Beachbody, and then how you got to the point where we are just before we started 80-day, I guess.
Okay. So my name is Angie Correa. I've been a coach for about 2.5 years, just over 2 years. And I have done, I think, just about every Beachbody program that there is. I started with the 21-day fix, Extreme, I believe. And then I went back to the 21-day fix because Extreme was a little bit hard, and worked my way back up to that. I've done Insanity. I've done Core to Force, which is like a martial arts. I've done the dance programs. Like I love working out at home because I'm just not super comfortable in a gym environment. I never was. I've done it a couple times in my life, and I just always felt like, I don't know, I just never really enjoyed it. I like working out in my own time when I want to and not having to travel and all of that stuff. So honestly, coming into the 80-day obsession was mostly because I had to. As a coach, I had to do it. And I really had this preconceived notion about it. And I had the same preconception about the 21-day fix before I did that. I know I felt like it sounded like it was a quick fix, and it's not. It's totally teaching you how to eat. It's just that it takes it's based on that whole 21 days to make a habit thing. So, but it sounded like a quick fix. An 80-day obsession sounded like a bikini contest to me. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, nope. My niche isn't gonna, like, the moms, the stay-at-home moms, this is not what they want. They don't want to be in like shape that a 20-year-old is in. Like, they just want to be healthy and strong and those things, but we don't want to be obsessed, right? Like, that wasn't how I felt. I'm like, I don't want to be obsessed. I want to be able to have balance. And so the name kind of put me off. And come to find out, it really has given me the balance that I was looking for. I wasn't expecting it. So kind of within the structure of doing a program like this, you find the balance, because it isn't a bikini program. And we'll get into that and how, the actual details of it and everything. But my coming into this, I was not expecting, number one, to like it. Because honestly, Autumn is not my favorite trainer in like the 21-day fix and her other programs. Watching her live is a completely different experience because it's not scripted. And so her personality comes out, and I really, really, really like her, which I was not expecting at all either. So that was how I came into this. I kind of had to.
No, that's good, because I was thinking that too. We have to do our due diligence as Beachbody coaches. It's our job. I mean, how could you not try it as a coach? Like, when we get a new product launch, that's just part of our job. And whether we want to or not, we have to try it. That was like when Size and Country Heat came out. I was like, oh my gosh, I hate dancing. I'm so not gonna, I knew I wouldn't like it, but I tried it. and I did like 1 or 2 workouts, and I was like, I know I'm not going to like this. But as a coach, and how am I supposed to talk to people about it if I haven't tried it either? I can't just say it's not for me. That's just not the right thing to do. At least you have to try it. And so you're right. We have to go into it knowing we kind of have to do it, and 80 days is such a long time to have to do something, right? Um, so, let's see, I've done every program too, for sure. I've been a coach now for about 5 years, and I had actually, same as Angie, I worked out from home forever. It just worked for me in between kids and stuff and their naps. I felt like I wasted a lot of time trying to get to classes and go to the gym and just be lost at the gym when I did belong to that kind of a thing. So I just really always was successful at home. I'm self-motivated. I don't need other people to motivate me. And I just love the workouts that Beachbody put out. So it's like Insanity, Core to Force, all the different ones, Shift Shop that has come out. Like I love all that stuff. I have all the equipment, so that, all of those things. I love the challenge of the nutrition that's included with all the programs. Something been different each time. When we were introduced to Core to Force, there was a big conversation about how it was going to be, adding carbs, which were fruits and things like that. So that was something new and different. Like every time a new program comes out, they almost like improve it in some way, either make it easier or just make it different. I think, and on some levels, they're looking to make the coaches continue to be challenged and continue to be successful, because we are the ones that are doing the programs for the most part. And if we're seeing success and we're excited about it, then obviously that's just going to radiate out like naturally, because we're excited and we're seeing great results. So I had kind of a long summer into the fall. I would say I was pretty lost before this program came out. I always kind of felt like I was missing something from my workouts, and so I would try to piecemeal them together. Like I've done, I really like the strength training. And so I really liked Body Beast and Hammer and Chisel, but then I always felt like a cardio component was missing, or a leg and butt workout was missing. And so I would like pull in from the different workouts, Core to Force for cardio, Insanity for cardio, whatever, and then the Body Beast for your arms, your legs, your back, whatever it is. And I would always be trying to put my own hybrid together. But then I was lost on what to eat, because I was like, okay, I want muscle and I don't want to be skinny, but I don't want to be fat. So what's that mean? And in the meantime, I've been taking my own certified exercise nutrition courses. So I was trying to understand for just my own self. But over the summer, I found myself in this trap of drinking a lot more than I normally was in my life. Like every weekend we would go out to restaurants. And so I was stuck in this, like from the summer, and then it carried all the way through Christmas, like drinking, going out on the weekends, restaurants, treats, like just I was fine. I'm fine all week. Have always been fine all week. It's the weekends that always injure me after the week. And so I felt really lost. Like I was like, I need something. And I knew this was coming. And I kept thinking, this better be the answer. Like I gotta pull myself out of here. And I knew that, like almost opposite of what Angie was thinking, with an 80-day program like this, I know I can commit, and I know I'll be focused for 80 days and I'll make myself. And because I know I can do that. I have, done those competitions before. I knew that. I was thinking exactly, you didn't want that, but I was thinking that's what I needed. Not that to that extreme, but a program that was of that length, that was going to suck me in for that time. Because I knew if I could adapt some habits for the 80 days, that there would be light at the end of the tunnel, and I'd hopefully be able to continue those habits by the end of the 80 days. And so I was excited to try it, because I really needed something. I really needed to change. And so I was like really 100% committed when I started, and I was really excited because I knew I had friends that were in the test group and they were like really getting awesome muscles and ripped. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not obese, but I'm not skinny. But I know that if I just had the right formula, that maybe I could just tighten things up just a little bit more. I don't want to be perfect and I don't want to never eat pizza again, but somewhere in the middle there, that was kind of what I was looking for. So let's see, it launched in January, right? Did it launch in January?
It did.
In January. And so the cool thing about this program is that it's got the 3 phases. And now when we first kind of started, I feel like it was a wicked learning curve. The nutrition was probably the hardest part to grasp. I was actually going through this with somebody today, a new person that signed up to start next week. And thinking about it from hindsight, like, God, we know so much now. Like, this is so awesome to be able to teach someone else what we know. Going into it, you just really have to have an open mind, because I think the first week I was like, oh my gosh, the timed nutrition is such that you have to eat a certain amount of time before you work out, and then you work out, and then you have your certain amount of time you have to eat after you work out, and you have this block and you can't go outside the block. It's like set. And I was one track mind, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get up any earlier than I already do to work out and get my food in? And like that, I was just that narrow-mindedness. Like I wake up and I work out. That's just what I do. Like I can't wake up at 4 a.m. to eat. That's ridiculous. I'm not gonna eat a full meal at 4 a.m. Like one track mind. After a few days though, I was like, you know what? I could totally change my workout to be 9 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock. And I'm lucky because I stay home and work from home. Other people, but I feel like you have to just be open to change and be open to ideas and not say, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. Like that's what you're saying is I don't want to do that. Not, I can't do that,
Yeah.
And so tell me what you were thinking when you first saw that. Like, what were your feelings like?
Oh, 100%. Like I started, so you watching this, you don't know, but there's a little program called A Little Obsessed, and it kind of introduces you to the concept of timed nutrition, and it just gives you a piece of it with the workout block. And I did that program the week before, and it's supposed to like kind of get you ready to do an 80-day obsession. And I think I made it through half a day on the timed nutrition. Like I was like I just could not wrap my brain around it. It was so different. And it was the same thing. I felt like I get up first thing and I work out. That's what I do. I don't eat first. I just work out. But then I realized that when I did Insanity and when I got to the hour-long workouts, I had to eat something beforehand, at least something small. Like I would have a banana with peanut butter on it or something, like just to give me, because I couldn't make it through an hour-long workout. And so I knew that with the length of these workouts, the eating was necessary. And then of course, being in that test group with Autumn and listening to her talk about why we were doing the timed nutrition and everything, that really convinced me that I just needed to do it. Like either I'm going to try it or not. And the thing is that this one pushes you so far outside of your comfort zone that you find new things that you like, because you can't rely on the old things anymore. And so you realize, like I actually really like eating before my workout now. Like I have so much more energy when I work out. I can't believe that I was working out for so long on an empty stomach.
Yep.
I push so much harder. And eating right after, like, I've been sore, but not for how hard I'm pushing, not nearly as sore as I should be,
Yep.
I mean, nutrition makes a huge difference. And I was afraid of the structure of this program because it felt like it was going to be too restrictive. And what it really did was give me freedom, because now I don't have, I just know what I'm eating. And so it's not a matter of, have to reinvent the wheel. Like it's all done for me. I know exactly what I'm eating. And And also sticking to being in a plan like this, committing to 80 days gives you the excuse, let's call it, to draw a line and say, this is what I'm doing. And then you figure out how to do it. And in figuring out how to do it, you learn things. So like you were saying about the drinking on the weekends, before I started this, I was drinking every day. Like every night I would have something. And that kind of carried over from the summer. It was the same thing. It was like, total relaxation mode over the summer. And then that carried into the fall. And I quit for about 5 weeks in November to December. But then after December, I kind of picked back up with it again. And so just committing to something and saying, I'm not going to do this anymore. Then it put me in situations where before I would have drank and now I couldn't. And then I realized in those situations that it didn't matter, that I didn't need to, that I was fine with seltzer, but if I hadn't committed to this and just, I would have never habits, and then it's just what we do. And so we have to change what we do to figure out if we're okay doing other things. I don't know if that makes any sense, but committing to the process definitely changed so many things for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the biggest thing too is that once you looked at what you had to do, it forced you to become organized.
Oh, for sure.
So, so I was like, okay, I'm the same routine every day, work out at 9:00, I eat, like kids get on the bus, blah, blah, blah. I have my thing now, especially, but there are days where I have to teach a class at a random time, or I have an appointment with the kid's school or doctor or whatever it is. That means that maybe I don't work out at 9 and I have to figure out when I'm eating the right things all around my workday, because now you can't eat that block. You have to save the block for when you're going to work out and what have you. So it really forces you to think, especially people who are working outside of the house that need to prep and stuff like that. And we can totally address all those questions. We have all works of life in our group for sure. But it forces you to really, really plan and prepare, which is great. But then on the same spectrum, like that's not scary, because the whole thing, when you look at the layout, like you said, it takes out all the guesswork. Like it tells me exactly what I need to eat when. And one of the cool things that I discovered early on was, like, for example, on a Saturday where I would be like willy-nilly, I'd wake up, it was a later day just because of the time, and I would take my time with my workouts and hang out with the kids and whatever. It was just a later day, so food was always pushed back. So if I would go to like the grocery store or go do errands, my usual MO was to come home and be like, I know I need to eat something, but I don't know what. And I would just come in and be like, it's Saturday, it's a free-for-all, and just eat whatever. But now when I come home, I know what time it is, and I know I have to eat the next thing on the list, and it tells me what those components are. So I need to pick a carb, a protein, probably a veggie, maybe a fruit, and a healthy fat. And that's typically, it's a balanced meal. It's nothing crazy. It's not like eating fish and veggies all day or anything like that. It's just a balanced meal, but it tells me which one is next. So then I just go down the list. Okay, I was out for a couple hours. I'm gonna eat this one next. And then a couple more hours, I eat this one next. And it even gives you the menu, like a sample menu and suggestions. So you can be kind of, like you say, as much freedom as you want in picking the foods and that sort of thing, or eat the same thing all the time, which I eat the same thing all the time. On the weekends, I might change it up, and dinner I change up, but pretty much eat the same thing all day. But I know what I need to do. And now the other day, which is pretty cool, so we're on day 46. The other day, yesterday, I was thinking, you know what? I think I could go to a restaurant and safely pick what I need in my groupings. Like if we went to lunch, and then if I knew what time of day it was, I could go, that this is the time of day that I eat the meal with the orange in it. And that's how I think about it, or the meal with the blue in it. And then I would say, I know what to pick in my head. I now have it all kind of memorized at this point and know what I need for the different times a day that I'm eating different things at. So that is really cool. And you feel like you can have the freedom to go out in public and you sort of know what the serving size is, and you know what you're looking for. And like Autumn said in the group the other day, you could go out and get have like a steak dinner or whatever, and you could eyeball the steak and be like, okay, probably half of a steak in a restaurant these days, maybe not a fillet or something, they're a little smaller, but you should be able to look at that, cut it in half, take half home, eat the next second half tomorrow for your lunch or something.
Right.
So not having to worry about not ever going out again, or I really feel like it's almost more liberating, because now I won't go to a restaurant thinking it's almost like I'm worried that I won't feel good if I pick the wrong thing. Now at this point, I feel so awesome that I'd be like turned off at the thought of a greasy cheeseburger or chili cheese fries or something like that I would normally not care about. I think probably would make me not feel, it's like a turnoff at this point. I feel like I'd rather pick like something that I'm used to eating. I don't know. I guess it's funny how your mindset just totally is changing as you go through this program at each phase.
Right. Yeah. And I went out to eat the other night with a friend, and the first restaurant that she picked, I looked at the menu and I was like, I can't do any. It was an Italian restaurant, and everything was like, it just was, there was nothing that made any sense to me. Like they didn't even have a salad that you get with like protein and cheese. I'm like, I can have protein, I can have cheese, I can have pasta, I can have like all of these things, but the way that the menu was, I could just tell that none of these things were actually going to fit. And so we ended up actually going to another Italian restaurant, and I had an awesome meal, and it was like farro and chickpeas with roasted vegetables and feta and steak tips. I mean, it was like delicious, like
Yeah.
so good. But that's the thing, like, because I'm doing this and I'm in it, like you're busting your butt every day. I'm like, to heck if I'm going to go to dinner and blow it on like some like veal parm or something ridiculous. When I know that I can get something, I know that I can find something that will fit my plan perfectly. And then I can be very happy eating my meal and still be on plan and be out with my friend. And so that feels really good, because I know like when I did the Whole30, that was a nightmare for eating out, because like it's so restrictive. And I think that that's what, a misconception with something like with Beachbody even. It's not like with like 30, it was like you couldn't have soy and you couldn't have sugar, like no sugar whatsoever. And that's not the case with this. Like we're not being that when you look at the food lists that we choose from in each category, you couldn't have cheese on the Whole30. Like you couldn't have any dairy products. I mean, I don't think I ever ate out when I was doing it, because it was so difficult. And I can tell people, like, they see that I'm doing this and they're like, oh God, what do you eat? And I'm like, steak tips and potatoes and, I mean, all good, real food. Like I'm not wanting for anything on this. And you can eat out, So that was really good. And actually I had sent her a list of like 6 different restaurants. I'm like, I looked at all of these menus. I can find something at any of these places. Which one do you want to go to? So it's not restrictive. It's just a matter of choosing.
Right. Your choice.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And I will say too that I don't trust myself or have not in the past when I go to restaurants, and I highly, besides the summer into the Christmas season, as I mentioned, I try to avoid restaurants because I know I can't make good choices. In the beginning here, we actually haven't been out to a dinner yet. But what I will say is that we are saving so much money, I cannot even tell you. So, everybody often says, oh, it's expensive to eat healthy and stuff like that. And no, I'm saving a ton of money. Like, we were 5 people, and when we would go out, you're talking drinks, appetizers, meals for everybody. It was $100 easy, if not
Easy.
more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if we had more than that, drinks and a tip and whatever.
Uh-huh.
So and like that, well, that's a week's of food. I mean, that's a week of food, maybe a few days of food, probably a week of food, I would say, because the way that I meal plan, I go to the store every few days. I can't do a whole 7 days. It's too overwhelming for me. So I'm at the store every few days, but I'm not spending the money like I was. And then I'm buying good food too. Even the other night I bought, I knew we were going to have refeed day. So I bought grass-fed burger to have for tonight with my white bun. It's like an oxymoron. But I was like, you know what, if I'm going to have a burger, I might as well get the good stuff. And yeah, it's cheap. I mean, it's expensive, but then there are a lot of days where I buy, pork. That's crazy how cheap pork is. Pork butts, and we buy these roasts and roast chicken. I mean, I eat ground. We do spaghetti meatballs, so I do ground meats a lot. I feel like I'm not spending. I'm saving money by all the things that I'm eating from this plan, and I having to eat more often, which is crazy too. I think we eat like 5 or 6 meals a day, plus Shakeology, the performance line, and all of that. So, I'm saving money. So my bank, it's funny because I didn't really even think about it, to be honest with you. And I was saying to Mark, like a few weeks in, that we hadn't been out, and I was like, we have money in our bank account, like more than normal. Like, 'cause usually I'm like, okay, we're going to spend this much time going out and and I was like, we're not using that money. We're saving like, 120 bucks a week from not going out and not buying
Yeah.
beer and not buying, he's drinking less. He still probably has a beer here and there, but he's definitely not into his makers like he normally is if we do it together,
Right. Yeah. We're saving a ton of money on eating out and on alcohol for sure. Yeah.
All right. So, one of the things that we wrote down different questions that we had. So we were talking about, like who the program is for, and pretty much, from what Autumn has said and from what we have gathered in our groups, like this program is for anyone. I think that Autumn kind of stipulated in the beginning that if you have a brand new baby, like right away post-mortem, you know what I mean, postpartum, like if you're in a position with a new baby where you're not getting any sleep, that might be something that you should be thinking about not doing the program, because you need a lot of rest. You need to get your 8 hours in, 7 to 8 hours, minimum 7. And if so, that would be a question coming into play. But for as far as anybody else, like we have beginners in the group. We've seen people that have just come off the street off of doing nothing. There's a girl in there that's like 450 pounds that started the program. She's doing amazing.
Yep.
Got a 70-something lady in there who she's like, watching her do the push-ups and the burpees, like, slow like grandma, but she's doing it, which is just, it blows my mind. It just blows my mind, the people that are in this group, all shapes and sizes, all walks of life, all ages.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have to say that so it's really we do a lot of weight training, resistance training. And in the past, I have not liked those workouts. I was definitely a sports drill or martial arts, or even the dancing stuff. I love those. But this, because it's made by a woman, she helps you with how to handle the weights. That was always my problem, like with programs that were bodybuilding programs, is that maybe my legs were strong enough, but my arms weren't strong enough to hold the weight. And then I would get frustrated because I couldn't push myself the way that I should be able to because my arms couldn't handle the load. And she walks you through how, different positions, what to do if this is too heavy, then just change to one weight, or if one weight's too heavy, then change to two and put them here. And she's constantly doing that throughout the program. So I feel like it's a weight training program that is getting our heart rate up as high as cardio program, but you're getting the muscle toning with it. Like, it's incredible. And I have to say, like what you were saying about who is it for, it is for anybody, obviously who isn't pregnant, who is willing to put in the effort, because you may have to modify, and there are ways to modify it. Like Meggin said, we've seen people who are 400 pounds doing this and modifying it with their hands on the couch, with their feet on the sliders. And, there's always a way to modify it. And modifying is not, you start where you start. Like, that's all. You do the maximum that you can do, and then you do that every day and you will get better. Like, that's just it. We're not in competition with anybody. Your only competition is yourself yesterday. So we have seen, it's mostly the attitude, I feel like, of whether or not you can do this. Is like, do you believe that you can? And then we go from there. So.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing about the way that it's set up, which is really cool, we didn't discover until phase 2, is there's 3 phases to the program. The first phase, and like Angie said, we started off, some of us, with a little obsessed, and that was like a sneak. Those were like 30 minutes. So we kind of some of us had a little bit of advantage, maybe not. I'm not quite sure actually if that might have helped.
Sure, it was an advantage, yeah.
Yeah, probably not, now that I think about it. So the first phase is designed to help you to build strength. And really get kind of used to the movements and get used to how your body moves with the sliders and the loops and all that. So that's a whole 4 weeks of building strength. But we didn't realize that until we started phase 2. Mm-hmm. When the workouts change again in phase 2, that's all I kept thinking was, thank God for phase 1. Like, I felt so strong, and I just couldn't even believe it was only a few weeks, but that's all I kept thinking every day was, thank God there was a first phase, because like, this has helped me so much. Like, now I'm killing this one, this workout or this exercise move. And last month we were just learning it, and I can only imagine what phase 3 is going to be like.
I know, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it.
This is our last week in phase 2. So we start phase 3 on Monday.
Which is the shred phase.
Yes.
So you had the building strength, and then the
muscle building
is also, it's actually that's the heaviest lift, is the middle. So you build like that base strength in the first, and you learn the moves, and your body figures out how to do all this stuff. And then in phase 2, you up the weights. And then in phase 3, it's the shred phase. So yeah, I can't wait to see what that's like. But
yeah, and the nutrition pretty much stays the same throughout. So depending on your body and that kind of stuff, like for me, I'm just eating maintenance through the whole thing. I actually went down a bracket to see how I felt a couple of weeks ago, and I ended up going back up. But everybody is different, and just depending on where you fall with your numbers, you have a calculation that you do at the beginning of phase 1, and then you have another calculation that you do in the beginning of phase 2, and then we'll recalculate again this weekend before we head into phase 3. So some people will change, maybe meal plans each time or twice or something like that. That just really depends on you. And we'll kind of get into that when we're in the group and how that should work for you, because a lot of that is listening to your body and what you are doing outside of the workouts and that sort of thing. And so that's something that we would work with you guys one-on-one to figure out and fine tune. Angie's probably eating weight loss. I'm eating maintenance because I'm teaching, as well as I'm just a lot going on. But everybody's different and their goals too, depending on how much weight you have to lose and that kind of thing. But don't be scared by like build phase, like this building phase. It's not like you're going to bulk up like, Sagi or anything like that. Doesn't mean that. It just means that you're building lean muscle. And what basically is happening, which is so super cool, is people are not necessarily losing numbers on the scale, but they are just changing their body composition into lean muscle. And so that is what's happening. Your fat is just leaving your body and turning into muscle, which is like the coolest science project ever.
It really is. It really is. Like the difference in the shape of my body from the beginning of this is crazy. I've only lost 10 pounds, I think, but I've lost it was 12 inches at the end of phase 1, and it's got to be at least 16 by now. Like I measured the other day and I was like, oh, I'm down like another 4. So, and the scale it's moved like a pound this last block here.
Yeah.
So, but my pants are fitted, like the pants, I was wearing a pair of pants today that I remember wearing just like right before I didn't even wear them. Like I put them on and I was like, oh my God, they look so bad. And I was wearing them today and they're loose. And I'm like, that is insane because I'm eating 2,000 calories a day. And that's the other thing. I think that this is not like a hunger thing. Like we are eating to fuel our bodies. And that is like the whole point, is like your food is fuel, and it's making that shift in our heads of looking at food as the enemy, which is how I kind of felt like I came from a Weight Watchers background. It was all about limiting. It's like, well, if I just limit this, then I can, on the weekend, I can do this. And it was all about like controlling the food in a way that, because food was bad. And this just teaches us that food is fuel. Like it's actually good. Like you need to eat, because if you don't, your body can't do what it needs to do. And I think that that's been the biggest shift for me doing this, is to start looking at food as fuel and what it can do for me, as opposed to being afraid of it.
Right.
Don't
be afraid to eat.
A day is like, if you had told me that 5 years ago, I would have told you were freaking crazy. Like there is no way I can eat that much and lose weight. And that's what's happening. Like, yeah. So, because it matters what you eat, right? Like you can't eat 2,000 calories a day of pepperoni pizza and have that do anything besides make you feel crummy. Like we're eating really good food, and that's why.
Right. And I'll say too that that's probably the biggest shift that I noticed too, was I've been eating the containers for a couple of years now, and I loved the containers when they came out. And so it's like, here's your 1,800 calories of the containers, and it kind of gives you a guide, right? And so that's what I was following, and I would follow various menus and just do different things, but I knew I had to get all the containers in by the end of the day. Wherever they fit is where I stuck them.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that I changed was the big thing that I changed, besides not drinking alcohol and cheating, was what containers I ate when, and then how they grouped them together. That was, so like, here's one example is you get 6 teaspoons or 7 teaspoons of, let's say, peanut butter a day. I was eating them all in one shot, like on a piece of bread, right? Right. So that's like a few tablespoons. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Tablespoons or something. Okay. So that and now I'm eating one at every meal, basically, right. A teaspoon at every meal. And then another thing I would do, or I used to do, was doing a big, huge salad in the middle of the day. So a bunch of greens. And then I would do my salad dressing and my cheese all in like one shot at like lunchtime. And so I'm like, oh, I'm getting in my salad. I'm eating all my greens at one time. And I'd wonder why I was like so bloated and like the middle of the afternoon, I wanted to fall asleep, couldn't figure that one out. And this is like, it's the way that it's spread out and all strategically grouped together has made all the difference. And I noticed that within the first week or two, that I was like, all of a sudden, no bloat. All of a sudden, my my waist went in, like that was the first thing to come in, was my waist and the bloating and all of that stuff. So that was one thing I wanted to point out, was that it makes a difference. It's not just about eating to 1,000 calories or whatever your target is. And it's having the right macronutrients at every meal and in and around your workouts that makes the big difference.
Right. And trying to figure that out on your own would be, like, I feel like that would just, I don't know. Again, it's reinventing the wheel. Like, this Times nutrition is not, it's tested, and it's proven. Autumn talks about how you can only absorb so many nutrients at one time. So by eating that big salad, you're actually not getting all of the vitamins and the fiber and everything from that. Part of it's just going to waste. So instead, when we give our bodies exactly what it needs, then we're able to use it. And then, so that 2,000 calories is different. It's different than if you group things together the way that we were before.
Right.
I'm eating so much food, and it's just like my clothes just keep getting looser. It is.
I know. It's crazy, right? It's crazy.
So crazy to me.
It's happening to everybody, like the whole group.
It is. Yes, it's not just us. No.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
No, it is. It's amazing. It's amazing.
All right. I don't know if there's anything else you can think of. I was going to say we can, quickly touch upon what some of the stuff looks like. I don't know if there's anybody has any questions. It was hard for me to really kind of tell what was happening on the page here. I see that Sherry's there, but I don't know if this is like live questions. Does anybody have anything? I don't know if I can. I think it's live, but I'm not sure. It says 3 people are watching, so it could be live, which is fine. But if you guys don't have any questions, then maybe what I'll do is we'll share. I think it's live, but I'm not sure. It says 3 people are watching, so it could be live, which is fine. But if you guys don't have any questions, then maybe what I'll do is we'll share. Stop that.
Is that me or you?
No, it was me. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
but should we talk really quickly about how much time it takes to prepare to, like, what we're doing? Because I know you said you do things a couple days at a time. So, like, as far as food is concerned, like,
yeah, everybody's got a different way of going about it. I have I'm like set in my ways, but you have different ways of doing it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think if you're someone who works outside of the house and you need to take your food with you for the whole day, then that's going to be a different story. You're going to have to kind of really, really super think ahead and like prep things the night before or whatever. That's what Joe is doing. He's prepping things the night before. Like, he just does stuff out so he can go. For me, I don't do that. Like, I portion things out just so that easy for him to take, but for me, I would just portion them out as I needed them. That doesn't bother me. And so I don't do a lot of prep. I don't do a lot of like meal packaging or prepping like you see those fancy, I have staples in the freezer that I make every week. I have my sausage. I have bagels. I have zucchini bread. I have, cottage cheese and spinach and eggs on hand to make pancakes. Like, there are certain things that I know I need to have. But other than that, like, I just kind of pull meals together on the fly a lot. So I don't do that much meal prepping. But I think if you work outside of the house and you're going to be gone for like 10 hours at a time, then you would need to do a little bit more of it.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. I go to the store every couple days, but I always have like quinoa in the fridge. Like, I make a thing of that because I eat the same stuff all the time. So I always have quinoa. I have eggs for breakfast. I'm on a Brussels sprout kick, so I always have them cut up in a giant bag so that I can just take my green and scoop it up and saute them. I have sweet potatoes, and that I love my new air fryer, so that's something that I'm using. I'll take a big sweet potato and slice it up in so they're discs basically, and put them in the fryer, and it's just like a baked potato basically, and I'll just stack them in the yellow thing as high as that they are basically, and then put the rest in the fridge and then warm them up as I need them. So I can either mash them or put them with something or whatever, but I always kind of have those sorts of things. I always have a thing of like chicken breast cutlets or turkey breast cutlets, or something like that. Like I mentioned, the air fryer, I throw those in there, and they're cooking like 10 minutes, and I have like a hot lunch that way. And then dinner is probably the only thing that I do. Like the meat is a variety, like we'll make a roast or we'll make a chicken or whatever, but then I still always have usually broccoli with my dinner, and a potato, probably sweet potato. I usually have the same thing. Like those sides are always the same. It's the meat that I usually change up all the time. And then I'll eat the leftovers. Like if we do a pork roast, then I can eat the leftovers for later in the week or whatever too. So, but yeah, there's a lot of tools that we have access to us now too. And because they launched this program, they've specifically created links to show like post-workout meals, pre-workout meals. Like the 80-day obsession creator, Autumn, she knows what colors you need, what containers you need, what food groups you need to go for your pre-workout and your post-workout. So they've created recipes already that we can have access to online that you can download shopping lists for. So you have like all these choices. You can make these like egg cup muffin things and eat those pre-workout and have all the things that you need inside them. And like if you're a grab and go kind of a person, you can make that stuff, take it with you, or eat before, that kind of stuff. So there's a ton of tools and a ton of resources for us to share with you guys inside our group. And that's stuff that we do like one-on-one with you. Once you get inside, we get into the details, work with you one-on-one as far as your calculations and what you need for food and all of that kind of good stuff there.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to jump online for a minute here. I want to give you guys just a quick overview. So this is the Beachbody On Demand website. I don't know if you can see this thingy or not, or if I can only see this thingy. So when you get on, you have a couple ways to access the workouts, okay? So you can access the workouts from a website, your computer, and this is what this looks like, and you would just scroll down to the 80-day obsession and click on it to get started. And it's just kind of like how Netflix is and any other on-demand program. You've got your list of workouts in this column, and then we've got all our program materials in that column. Now, I will say, too, that you can also download the Beachbody On Demand app for your phone or your tablet. I use Chromecast to do my workouts. So I either cast from my phone or cast from my tablet to my TV. And that's how I do my workouts, but everybody's got their own personal preferences. There's Roku, there's Fire Stick, there's Apple TV, like any means that you watch your Netflix, and that will work the same way with Beachbody On Demand. And I'm not an Apple person, I'm an Android person, but I hear that the Apple Watch does some pretty cool stuff as far as making that all work together too, but I wouldn't know.
I don't know about that either.
But if you're tech savvy, you might know that. But at any way you look at it, you just have access to all this stuff, whether it's in the app or on the computer. So this is just a bigger way for us to show you, obviously. And we're in phase 2, so they're only releasing the workouts as they come out. So right now, only phase 1 and phase 2 are up. There is, some getting started tips. I highly recommend when you start that you watch the weekly obsession the week before you start. Don't watch them too in advance, or don't watch them in advance. Watch it like the Saturday or Sunday before you start the following week. And I say that just because they have been so extremely helpful. When I first heard that they were going to be doing this, I was like, oh my gosh, just more stuff for us to look at. I just felt like so overwhelmed. Like how can they do these videos? Oh my gosh. But what happens is it comes on right after Saturday's workout for me. The first time I didn't even realize that it just started, and I just sat down and just started watching it. It was so good. And the cool thing about that was everybody was going through the same stuff that you were. So what I was finding was the people were saying what I was thinking, and they're going through the same things. And so it was really a relief to hear people talking about issues they were having or questions that they had, that I had the same questions. And so I highly recommend watching the weekly obsession when you before you start your next week. So Saturday or Sunday before you start your next week. Oh wait, actually, let me go back to this. So all that you do when you're looking to play your video is you just push play, and that's pretty much it. We're not going to play the whole thing, but I just was going to show you how it works. And casting it is the same way.
Hello, welcome to 80 Day Obsession.
All right. So that's how they work. Pretty self-explanatory. You can click on them to see what the workout consists of and what equipment you need. You can also, you'll notice that there's no music. So you just want to make sure to have your own playlist handy when you're doing the workouts, which is pretty cool. I like that actually because I tend to listen to the workouts without the music audio anyways. So that is what I like to do. So let's go over to the program materials real quick. I just want to give you kind of a really brief overview. There's the starter guide, and this is going to tell you how to get to your calculations and things like that. So once you get started and you get signed up, you come in, you can read all about how you get started, taking your before pictures, your measurements, and then in phase 1, you'll do your first calculation. So this is going to tell you how much food you need to eat, which bracket you need to be in for phase 1. You'll take your current weight, multiply it by 11, add 600. Now, if you are breastfeeding, or you are looking to maintain your weight, you'd stop here, and this would be your number. If you are looking to lose weight, then you would subtract 750. Uh-oh, did I lose Angie? She left the screen. She's not messaging me. Maybe she got frozen. Maybe she'll come back. Okay, so you would maintain these calories here. Let me just make sure that I'm still going. Okay, I am. Good. So if you were to maintain, or if you're breastfeeding, you would stop at maintenance. If you're looking to target weight loss, then you take your maintenance and you subtract 750, and that's your calorie target. And then it will tell you based on that what plan you fall into. Okay, so there's just some really good information in here, the workout equipment, what the different focuses and that kind of stuff. And then once you have that, you can go into your nutrition, and you can go into your eating plan. So I'll give you guys an example. I'm on maintenance and I'm eating plan D right now. So plan D for me is 2,100 to 2,299 calories. I'll just scroll down and show you what my day is like. And we talked about the workout block. So this orange part here is the workout block. So this is what I consume before I work out. I have my Brussels sprouts, I have an orange, I have 2 eggs, and sometimes I have a Killer Dave bagel with peanut butter, or I have sweet potatoes with peanut butter. And then I get my workout in. You'll see here too that the Beachbody Performance line is worked into the eating plan. So you have your pre-workout Energize, which is everything is all natural. Energize is going to help you to focus before. I can't even imagine not doing a workout without it, to be honest with you. I think that the Performance line has been out a couple of years now. I've been drinking it ever since it launched a couple of years ago. And it's absolutely necessary for everything that I do. I actually ran out. I don't know if you guys were following me at all. Last week, I think I ran out. First time ever I ran out. And it was the worst workout ever. I was so tired. It was a complete bummer. And then you can have the option to take Performance Hydrate. I don't like Hydrate. I'm not a fan of Gatorade in general. It's not a Gatorade, but it's similar. It's electrolyte replacement. So it's not going to be sweet like Gatorade is, but it's similar to what that would be. I'm just not a fan personally of Gatorade in general. Like, it just the long story. And then you have your post-workout supplement is worked within here too. So you have a piece of fruit and then your Beachbody Performance Recover. And that's something that I also really, really love. There's a couple reasons why I like the Recover. It is a protein. It's also full of branched-chain amino acids, and you've got all sorts of vitamins and minerals in there in order to prevent muscle soreness and help you to recover faster. I do also use creatine from our performance line, and I add that in there, and that's to help promote lean muscle. So those two components I do add in there. It's not necessary to add the performance line in, but I will tell you that it will make a big impact in your workouts, your performance, and how you feel. I will also tell you that everything within the performance line as well as Shakeology is all natural. It's even safe for people who are pregnant and breastfeeding. The products are NSF Sports certified, which means that they're safe to use. The North American Ironman series has us as a sponsor, and all of their elite athletes use the line. So that will tell you how important and how elite and awesome the performance line really is. And so, like I said, I've been drinking this stuff for a couple of years. It's pretty awesome for sure. And like Angie said too, getting in the right nutrition really helps with your muscle soreness and recovery in addition to these supplements. And then so after I work out, I have a couple protein, green, yellow. So that's usually I'll do like keep the quinoa and more Brussels sprouts sometimes, or broccoli. But then you have these other meal options throughout the day. And so we talked about how the stuff was grouped together. The workout block is pretty non-negotiable. You kind of have to eat this exact layout as it states within that block of your workout. So if you work out in the morning, that's where you start your block at. If you're going to work out at night, then you need to eat this block at nighttime. And then your post-workout meal would be your dinner technically, right? But then these meals you can have at any time of day. You just can't swap the colors around. You have to just eat them as they're laid out. So, but again, like I was saying before, I really feel like it takes out all the guesswork. It's super easy to just go in and say, what's next? What's next? What's next? You know? And there also is vegan eating plan. So if you are a vegan person, you have vegan options as well. And there's the music playlist down there. I have not. Oh, cool. I totally have not even seen that. Learn something new every day. What else did I want to touch upon? All right. So I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And Angie's gone. She joined, but she's gone. Does she have any questions? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So you guys, I posted earlier that we're giving away the Beachbody 80-Day Obsession mat and the 80-Day Obsession tank for anybody that signs up before Sunday. So you have to sign up with us as far as joining the group, okay? So what does that mean? What does that entail? There are like good, better, and best options. So we are starting a brand new group next week. Monday is going to be our prep week, a brand new 80-Day Obsession group. I'd say we've got about 10 or 15 people in there starting already. And so this is your opportunity to jump in there with us and do another 80-day group. You know, I feel like once it's over for me, I'm just going to restart it. It's been that amazing that I can't wait to just continue with it. So it's going to be so much fun to help you guys on your journey. Okay, so next week's prep week, which means that we'll be talking about the nutrition. We'll be calculating that out for you. We'll be helping you to meal plan. We'll be giving you the tools and the resources in order to create your own menus. We'll be working with you guys one-on-one, you know, and supporting you in that way. So that's what Prep Week's all about. We'll talk about taking before pictures and before measurements and making sure you weigh yourself. You'll want to print out the tracking sheets. Each phase has a whole new set of workouts. There's 80 different workouts to this program. Every single workout is different. So there's really no reason for you to get bored. I mean, it's just been incredible to go through this process. We're 46 days in, 47 day tomorrow. And it's just been just so unique and different. And I cannot say enough about it. So next week will be our prep week, and then we'll start day one with you guys the following Monday, which could be the 19th, I think. Yep. So 19th of March, we'll start our day one, our physical day one. So you'll have a week to get everything that you need ordered, you get your grocery shopping done, all of that kind of stuff. You do need equipment for this program. You'll see that a lot of the workout videos that I've posted uses the sliders and the loops. So the good news is depending on which discount bundle package you choose, those will come included with your pack. You have, like I said, a good, better, and best, depending on where you guys want to be. Let me see if I can pull this up here and share with you guys. Oh, no school. Already getting that notice. Hold on, just pull this up real quick and share this with you guys so you have sort of an idea of what we're talking about. Quickly, where are we here? Oh. Okay. Okay, so we have, and this is, I think the pricing's pretty current, but there's a couple different packages, like I mentioned, just depending on where you are. And if you're not sure, we can help you with that. There's pricing now that they have kind of come up with for people who are existing customers that may already have Beachbody On Demand, and they just want to add on to them and get the sliders and the loops in the Performance line or the Shakeology. Or if you're a brand new person and you don't have anything like that, you have those options. We also have, options for, okay, so this first slide here is for brand new coaches or customers that get started. You've got the good, better, and the best, and the mega pack, basically all that is one, you don't need anything for the whole 80 days. This is everything you could ever want for the entire 80 days. You'll get the Beachbody On Demand all annual access pass, which gives you 12 months to Beachbody On Demand. So we're talking about, this lifestyle change, right? This is thinking long term, right? So even after the 80 days is done, you can repeat the process or you can jump onto something else. You have access to every single workout that Beachbody has ever created, all the content that Beachbody has ever created, all within that all annual access pass. You also get access to, and I forgot to show you guys, this is our cooking channel Fixate. And so exclusive to Beachbody On Demand is it's a cooking channel, and everything within the channel shows you recipes that you can use with the container system. There are ones that are specific to the 80-day obsession only. You've got not just main meals and side dishes, but drinks, cocktails, desserts, sauces, dressings. They did for Thanksgiving, they did a whole 7-course meal for Thanksgiving. So all that is available to you. You can watch the video and how they make it, and then you can print out the PDF and the shopping list, and it's just absolutely invaluable in itself. So you have access to that. And plus, there's a lot of things on there that are just exclusive that you wouldn't get on a DVD or that just don't get released to the public. There's events that that Beachbody has had in the past, like Sean Week, or Sagi had a week of hard labor. Like the personal trainers, they do their own different segments on there too, information and all kinds of really great resources, not to mention endless tools for menus and shopping lists. And it really is just an invaluable resource, especially for the value. You get, with all the packs, you also get the intro guide and the calendar. So you get the 80-day obsession workout calendar. You'll get the portion control containers that we talked about, the color-coded containers in a shaker cup. You get the loops and the slides. And then in the mega pack, you get Shakeology, and you get 2 tubs of Energize and 4 performance tubs of Recover. So this is all one time. And this is like everything that you need for the entire 80 days. So you don't have to like ever invest again, right? The combo pack gives you all that stuff, except it allows you to have just Shakeology and the performance stack one time. It's not, the performance stack isn't reoccurring. Shakeology would come on auto ship to you every single month, and you could have the option to like cancel or change any of that at any point. That is one that I highly recommend, because what was happening to me when we first launched the program was most people were getting the base and they would just choose Shakeology, and then they didn't realize how important the supplements would be and make an impact, and they ended up ordering it later, and it's more expensive to order it outside the pack. So if you can utilize the better middle of the road investment, that would be my recommendation for sure. Let's see. Then you have existing. So these are the completion packs. So if you already have Beachbody on demand, you can get the base kit and just order Shakeology, or just order Performance. The middle of the road choice, again, it's going to be a discount, because if you were to buy everything and piecemeal it, it's going to be more expensive. The program and the equipment and the sliders themselves, the sliders are $25, and the loops are $15 each, and there's 2 sizes. So you get both sizes with this pack. You get a 9-inch and a 12-inch, and it's for like short people or tall people, or if you and your husband are doing it, you've got 2 sizes in there. So that alone is worth, is a huge savings when you think about those. So the containers, they're like $10. Beachbody on demand by itself is $99 for the year, and then Shakeology by itself is $130 by itself. So that's, I think it's already adding up, obviously, right? And then the performance stack, I think those 2 pieces run me, now I have my discount, so I think with my discount's about $86. But it's still savings to get it in a package like this. And then if you were existing customer and you just needed the base, you could do that. But that was when it first launched. So, but there you go. That's kind of what you've got there, the sliders, the loops. And I will also say too that when we first heard about the program, I was like, I'm buying my own sliders from Amazon, and I'm going to get my own loops from there. And I went on there right away, and I got myself a set of loops and a set of sliders, and I'm like, I'm all set. I don't need to spend that kind of money on sliders and loops when I could get it at Walmart or Amazon or whatever, right? So I was going along, and I'm using them. And then when they launched this, in order to be a part of the coach test group, we had to purchase something. And so I got the base kit, which was basically my entry into the coach test group. And it gave me the containers, and it gave me the loops and the sliders. And oh my goodness, what a difference in quality. So if you are having that same thought that you think you're going to save some money, so now I have all these loops and sliders downstairs in the basement that I don't even use, and they're collecting dust because they suck in comparison to these ones. The quality, the thickness, and the loops themselves are just, the quality is unbelievable. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. We had so many people in our group, because I was telling everybody to get these ones from Amazon, and there were so many people in our group that were like, oh my gosh, these stink. And then when they got their pack, they were like, wow. And they thought that their legs burned before they got these loops. And when they got these loops and realized that they were the right size, the 9 inches for the ladies, the 12 inches for the men, or, you know, depending on your body type at all, what a difference it made. So I just wanted to make sure to add that, to let you guys know too. All right, guys, I don't know. Does anybody else have any other questions? Let me see. I want to make sure that I am not seeing anything else anywhere. I know that we shared this in a couple spots. But I want, let me know if you guys can think of anything else. Otherwise, you can always post and tag me, and then we can answer your question later. So I'm just looking to see if anybody has any questions here. See anything? All right, you guys, check a couple more spots. Sorry, in the lull, I just want to see if anybody needs anything else. Nothing there. All right, you guys, I think that's about it. I'm so happy to be able to do this. I love talking about things that I love and can get excited about. And so I was happy to be able to do this. If you have any questions or you want to learn more about joining in, we would love to have you. Like I said, we start prep on Monday, and you know, you'll have all week to kind of get yourself acclimated. We've got a lot of new people starting, so I'm excited, and I'm excited to finish phase 3 and then start it all over again. Yeah. So thank you for taking out the time to sit with us tonight. I'm sorry that we lost Angie. She must have lost her connection. But if you guys have any questions, post, comment, or message one of us, and we'll be sure to get back with you. And have a great rest of the night.